Thank you, everyone. So my name is Meng. This talk is going to be on the experience of, is the mic okay? The new contributor's experience in learning Elixir by contributing. So if you were here last month, you probably heard Josh talk on learning Elixir by contributing. And he did a very good introduction on the source code of Elixir and how you can learn Elixir through relentless contribution. And I was very inspired by that, so that's why I started contributing. Another fact is, early in 2017, a friend of mine started using Elixir. And he liked it so much that he would talk about it every single day. So we will talk about how it's easy to send messages across processes with Elixir. Coming from Node.js developer, sending messages, we use RabbitMQ. We never saw a syntax that says receive something and do. And that was quite amazing. And this was adapted from the Python version of the skcd. So maybe I'll let you guys read about it. I actually started learning Elixir by reading the Dave Thomas book. It's Programming Elixir. I think it's rather a good starting book because it combines both the theory aspect of functional programming and concurrent programming with the practical element. So I had a lot of fun reading it, and I think it's really a good starting point. So I highly recommend it. So after reading the book, getting inspired by a talk on contributing to Elixir, I had to jump in and start it. So I did. So I started looking into Elixir's issue page, and basically, I think the Elixir maintainers did a very good job making the contributing to Elixir experience very, very friendly. So here we can see that they specify issue by the apps, such as Elixir, Mix, or IEX, and different kinds, enhancement, and different level of difficulty. So I certainly didn't start with the advanced, so I took the easy route. So those are the work I did. I actually started from the bottom, whereas the first bug I tried to fix was actually considering Unicode characters, non-characters as being valid. So there was a bug in Elixir 1.4 earlier, where Unicode non-characters were being considered invalid, although by specification they should be valid. And after that, I moved on to another bug. Then I did a bunch of commits trying to fix the test suite on Windows, which I will talk about later. During this process of contributing to Elixir, I realized Elixir maintainers really like test cases. And as you can see here, we have a bug fix that's about 2 lines long, and it took me rather 2 hours to write a test case. But the worst thing is not that. After I wrote the test cases, it was no use because the test case already passed in the version that was broken. So, but turns out Jose Valim still merged it anyways, and he wrote his own test case. That's a good thing. So that was fun. 2 pull requests. I asked myself, what's next? What can we do that actually fix something that affects me? Because those 2 bugs, when I started using Elixir, they weren't bugs that affect me. That they only present on the issue page where I just said, oh, that's easy fix, I'm gonna take it. But then I had to work on something more motivating so I can keep working on it. So I chose to work on fixing the test suite for Windows machines. And this is rather not that easy, not technically, but culturally. Because we're not sure, at the first, the easy one is there was no CI for Windows. So I can fix the bug for today, but eventually it will break because there's no way to enforce that the bug is going to be forever fixed. And I also see, if you look at the Git commit, you see that other people have tended doing the same thing. And over the time, the build still breaks on Windows. Second thing is, we're not sure if the maintainer care. If you do a lot of open source contribution, you know that people love working on macOS, love working on Linux. And every time you submit a patch, spend hours trying to make something build on Windows. They just don't merge it. So I want to make sure that it's not the case. So what I do, actually assembled a very slim pull request, only 16 lines of change, but it fixed something. It fixed a small issue that prevents the mixed test suite from building. I just want to see what do Elixir maintainers think about it? What does the community think about it? And it turns out they were very receptive to this kind of change. And together we actually think about ideas to bring up a Windows CI and try to make the CI pass, make it green. So a lot of people pitch in, and we all worked on this series of issues. So that's why we started from building and passing only on Linux and Windows, Mac OS, and now we're building and passing Windows also. So that concludes the adventure on Windows and on Elixir. After having so much fun doing Elixir programming, I had to bring this to work. So we at RabbitMQ actually were doing a lot of crawling, and we're doing street address parsing. So we created a library in Elixir that does street address parsing and normalization. Basically, if we give our company address 615 Rennes West, Montreal, Quebec, Canada, it will be able to tell us that 615 is the house number, Rennes West being the street, and Montreal being the city, Quebec being the state, the province, and Canada is the country. So check this out if you guys are interested. I think I'll post it on Reddit, and a few more people thought this kind of project are interesting and they might use it in their own project. So take a look. And if you haven't been inspired to contribute to Elixir by now, after 2 talks this month and last month, there's a problem. But if you are, there's one more Windows test suite bug that you can try to fix. It's issue number 6149. I remember this number because I tried so many times to try to fix it. It's difficult. If those are not your thing, if you're a Mac OS user, check out Ecto, GenStage, and Xtalk. Those are important part of the Elixir community and ecosystem. To sum up, I have to say contributing to Elixir is really rewarding because the community is open-minded, helpful, and ready to give you advices. And most importantly, I think contributing to Elixir, you get mentorship from people who actually wrote the code for Elixir, who actually built the ecosystem. And they know more things that you can find from a book like Programming Elixir, or from your peers who recently just started learning Elixir. So I highly recommend you guys start contributing. It's really a good experience. So that's it.